Sorry, I'm a minute late. Sedona dislocated her leg, and so I'm doing everything one-handed. So it takes me a little bit longer. She just wants to be held while she's just recovering. So uh, we will do our sadhana now, though. And this week, like I said, we are focusing on the body. And I want to wrap that up with focusing on breathing and why breathing is so important, especially during sadhana. But before we get into like the pieces around like why we do it for sadhana, let me grab my notes because I made some notes so I would remember everything. Um, Sometimes, especially, you know, now with Sedona, I'm like very likely to forget things. So one of the things I want to talk about first, though, is really like the benefits mentally on breathing, because breathing as a whole has a massive impact on us. I kind of mentioned that in yesterday's sadhana, but let's go in a little bit deeper on this. Okay. So when we are practicing breathing, like we did yesterday or some of these other days, when I say you're breathing in your stomach, it's like diaphragmic breathing, right? And when you're taking in a full breath that is going into your diaphragm and you're doing that type of breathing, it allows more airflow. And airflow is a huge part of what makes up like our blood and obviously breathing and living. But what happens is as this airflow increases, it helps calm the flow of blood that your body is processing. And so it calms the amount of blood flow into your brain. And the reason you want to do that is because our bodies are made that if we have shorter breaths or more frequent breaths, that the body will pump more blood. And as it pumps more blood and more blood will flow into the brain, and it starts to flood parts of the brain, the exterior parts, and come towards this center part that's called the reptilian part of our brains. And the reptilian part of our brain is where we have fight or flight reaction, right? Sadly, a lot of us live in this regularly and don't even realize it, that we're constantly in fight or flight. And it could be from trauma and past experiences, but it also very much can just be from constant chronic stress, overstimulation, not doing self care. Like there's a lot of things that cause us to live in this normal state. And it's not healthy because that's where we get all those hormones dumping into our body, right? So when we're going through this, keep in mind it's going to help with anxiety. Breathing helps with your attention span. It actually helps lower pain levels. A lot of people use breathing or hypnotherapy versus using like narcotics or things like that for procedures. And it's been used a lot, especially both those practices in like war times and what have you, when there's limited access to drugs. And some people just prefer it. They just don't like to have any foreign things in their body, right? But there's situations where they still need some massive stuff done that would normally cause anxiety, shortness of breath, and create all of this pain. So as you breathe, it'll help lower the pain. Now, the short, shallow breaths, what happens there is you've heard of hyperventilation. That's exactly what it is. It's that hyperventilation. It's speeding up your heart rate. It's pumping blood faster, and the blood starts flooding. And so that causes anxiety, panic attacks. It does increase pain. It increases heightenedness and alertness as well, because all these other functions of your brain are starting to get smaller in capabilities. So there are some different techniques besides the box breathing we did yesterday. There is a 4-7-8 breath. And the reason I bring this up is because I want you to have a lot of options, right? I want you to figure out which one is going to work best for you. That's why when you hear me do our normal sadhanas, you hear me talk about how it's like um, if you have tightness in your chest, to change your breathing pattern, right? Maybe you need to take longer breaths, more frequent breaths. You don't really want to be in this state where like you're holding your breath and you're like afterwards. You don't want to be exasperated gasping for air, because that totally defeats what you're doing. It starts actually increasing because now you're taking short breaths afterwards, right? So again, with the 4-7-8, it's very similar. We'll do a practice of it. The benefits of this one, and all of them, but this one you can see the decrease in anxiety. You do sleep better. It's been used for food cravings and getting that taken care of, and controlling the quick emotional responses like anger, like we were talking about yesterday with the box breathing. This is another alternative. And it helps put you into what's called recovery mode. And so your body starts to kind of relax, and then it has the ability to start looking at other parts of your body to help it like recover and see if there's anything it needs to do at the end of the day. Um, so the funny thing is that, as we've talked about, when you start practicing these and finding out which one works for you, it automatically starts becoming like default. So, there's that. You can just continue to be calm all the time eventually. Now, all of this talk about breath, there is a spiritual connection there. And that's why we practice it. And that's why this whole week I've been talking about the body, calming the body, mind, loving the body, and all of those different byproducts of this, right? Because your body is the vessel that holds your spirit, and you need to take care of it so that you can be here to fulfill your purpose, grow your clarity, your intuition, your connection with spirit, and be the light that this world needs so much, right? And so it's really important to take care of your body so that you can fulfill what you're supposed to be doing here. I'm obviously a firm believer in that. So, but this is a part of your spiritual practice is through that mind, body, spirit connection. And so when you're looking at your awakeness, you're looking at your connection, you're looking for this ultimate state of relaxation and meditation so that your brain is back in your control. In fact, tomorrow, I haven't put it up yet. I'm almost done writing it. Tomorrow's blog post is actually about affirmations, but it talks a lot about the brain and how it's a control freak. And so how you have to get past that. And breathing does the same thing. It's the physical piece of it, right? And so it does all connect. And it helps you have your energy connection. It helps you while you're, especially if you're doing like a visual meditation. Lots of people, it's mainly like a Western culture thing, but lots of people like that guided visual meditations. And a good way of practicing this is when you inhale, you see spirit, you see light, and all this coming into your body if you're visual. And when you exhale, you see it expanding and the energy becoming all around you. And then if you are like, hey, I'm not a visual person, you imagine it with your mind's eye. If you can't do that, because some people have to practice to be able to do that as well. Again, it's all about that mind, right? But if you can't do that, you can feel it. And so you'll need to close your eyes when you do it, and you need to make sure that you're feeling it. Now, let's go over this 4-7-8 breathing real quick and that technique. I was not anticipating having a dog in my arms. I was going to stand up. I'm like, I still have my yoga clothes because I was going to stand up and show you how the breath rises and falls. But we will have to do that a different day because she's obviously quite content here in my lap, and I'm just going to let her be until she recovers. So when we're doing this, what you want to do, again, is you want to sit comfortable. Let me move because I'm actually not sitting straight. It's okay. It's okay. So you want to sit comfortable, and you want to close your eyes and just breathe. And then what you're going to do is you're going to breathe in through your nose for a count of 4. Then you hold your breath for 7. And then when you exhale through your mouth, you do it for a count of 8. Okay, so it's very similar to yesterday. So breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And relax. That's it. That's 4-7-8 breathing. Some people, the reason I always suggest to start with box breathing is some people, depending on when was the last time they started trying to control their breath and the state of their life, it's actually hard to do this one, or harder, Some people can't hold their breath for the count of 7 or exhale for the count of 8. And so starting with 4s are fine and working your way up. But let's practice it one more time, and then we'll jump into a quick sadhana. Okay. I'm not going to count this time because I'm going to be holding my breath. So I'll use my fingers. Hold. And exhale. And relax. Hopefully you did that with your eyes closed. It's so nice and peaceful. So that is a new one to add to your practice. 4, 7, 10. So you got 4x4s, box breathing. You have 4, 7, 8. Plus you have your normal sadhana where you're just breathing regularly. So all these different breath techniques are going to bring you huge abundance within one day of practicing them. And you'll notice the instant you do the breathing techniques that you are so much calmer and you do feel a release. And as you continue, it just continues to become more expansive and massive. And then could you imagine adding that to your spiritual practice? It's amazing. So with the sadhana today, we're just going to do it for a few minutes. And so go ahead and relax, sit back, eyes closed. Release your legs. Let them become heavy. Release your hips. Let your arms drop and become heavy. Soften your abdomen. Release your shoulders. Relax your face. Releasing your brow. Letting go of your eyes and softening your lips. Breathing in and out your nose. On your inhale, think to yourself, I am aware of my body. And on your exhale, I love my body. I'm aware of my body. I love my body. Nice, relaxing breaths, uncontrolled. On your next breath, take a deep breath in, hold, and release. Take another deep breath in, hold, and release. And then bring your hands together in front of your chest and repeat after me. We're going to chant Om Shanti 3 times. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And rub your hands together and get them nice and warm. And then gently rub them over your face without touching your eyes. And then open your eyes when you're ready. It feels good. I just love sadhana. I do it all the time. And I so feel like today is Friday and it's not. I just have to say that out loud. I'm like, oh man, now I'm so relaxed. I'm like, oh yeah, so great. I could just go like do some very cool like self-care stuff and go to bed. Anyways, I hope that helps with the explanation of the breathing, and we will continue in our sadhanas, more regular sadhanas next week. But have a great night. Enjoy the moon this Saturday. That will be awesome. And then the newsletter is going to have a lot of information in it this week. So make sure you take a look at that. Have a good night, everyone. Take care. Bye.